One thing we know, or we expect, Raiders are probably going to blitz like crazy because the Giants did and were successful. What do you do? How do you beat that? What is this? What do you have that can make them stop or make them pay?
If you have David Njoku, that would be key because you remember a lot of times this was happening last year and they would run those center screens to David Njoku where he would just leak out over basically the center gap. You have Jerome Ford, who is a good receiver. These outside receivers, I don't think, you have Judy, Cooper, Moore, certainly Tillman. I don't think all four of these guys and Deshaun Watson are on the page as far as what this offense is and what it isn't. Even like I know Tillman caught a lot of flack, for that ball he didn't catch. It was slightly tipped before it got there, still should have caught it. But you talk about your 6'3", 220-pound receiver, on your short, quick slant with the game on the line. That should not be a play that is ran to Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman should be a guy that's running deep vertical routes because he is most likely bigger than any defensive back on the opposing team. So you've got to start using your guys and using your guys correctly as far as what they can do well and what they cannot do well. And until they work all this out, and hopefully it's getting worked out quickly, and hopefully it's getting worked out immediately ahead of the trip out tomorrow to Vegas to play the Raiders, because it's just not going well. Everything looks forced. And, back to the, original guy that left the message. Yeah. I mean, this looks like a team that is, probably in late August, not a team that is in late September, rounding into October. This offense has a lot of issues and it needs to get right. Otherwise, it's only going to get uglier. And if it doesn't get right, that's when you start contemplating change.
So key matchups. What do the Browns need to do to win? Who do they really need to step up? And as you said, I agree wholeheartedly. 1-3, and you're looking now at Washington and at Philadelphia. That sounds like a disaster.
Well, I think the first thing is a couple of years ago, the Browns went down to Miami. I believe that was still Jacoby Brissett playing quarterback for them. Christian Wilkins absolutely destroyed them that day. And this was a huge addition for the Las Vegas Raiders because Max Crosby in Las Vegas, it'd been a lot like Myles Garrett in his early years in Cleveland, where it was one guy in the defensive line without any legitimate help around him. Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, they're both going to come into this game dinged up. Max has got an ankle. We know, Myles has got things going on. But Dexter Lawrence killed this team last Sunday. Absolutely destroyed them. Wyatt Teller, Posick, Joel Bitonio, you name it. And Dexter Lawrence kind of ate their lunch for them. Christian Wilkins may not be as big, could possibly be a step quicker, which is probably scary. You're going to have to take this away, and it's going to start with the offensive line. And again, it is not a good situation to be in when you, A, don't know who's going to play, and B, of the guys you have who are going to play, you don't necessarily know what positions they are going to play. Find the best five you have for Sunday. If Joel Bitonio's got to play left tackle, that's fine. I think the emergency offensive line Sunday looked better than the offensive line that started the game. And if that's the case, then that's the offensive line, and that's the offensive line going forward unless injury dictates otherwise, because you got to get some harmony going there. You can't keep rotating guys in, rotating guys out. So you might have a new left tackle this week. You might have a new starting left guard this week. You might have a new starting center this week. You might also have a new starting right guard, which we're definitely going to have. And if that unit goes out there and can take away Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins, or at least control them and allow Deshaun Watson to get things done that he needs to get done, then that is your offensive line going forward. You can't go by, this week we have so-and-so, so we're going to plug him in. There is no harmony within this offensive line. And that was the key for this team in the beginning years of the Stefanski regime, is you looked out there each and every week. We knew who the starters were. Granted, health was a lot more on their side in those days, but you knew who the left tackle was, the left guard was, the center was, the right guard and the right tackle was. There was no question about it. And right now, that is probably one of the biggest things that's holding this offense back.